Okay, hi there, traders, and welcome. So I'm just going to go run through the markets through the Asian session, and then we're going to take a look at coming into the European session. We're going to take a look at the DAX and the UK 100, just levels to watch out for the coming session, and also we'll get into the Nasdaq, which is the US Tech 100 CFD, and the Dow, the Wall Street 30. Okay, so we'll just look at the key levels there, where to expect some sort of action or reaction, and where you can potentially get some trades into the market. Okay, so we'll start off with the ASX 200 in the Asian session, then we'll go through the Hang Seng and the Nikkei. All right, so pretty much the markets melted down a bit today. They were pretty much sold right into from off key levels. You can see this is the ASX 200 CFD. My mouse back. Here we go. You can see that's the open there. Obviously, one candle back. Opens at 9:50 Sydney time. It ramped straight up. Really no setup at all for me. I was looking at that and just saw it ramp straight up into that resistance zone and then pretty much fell away straight away. Okay. So there's different types of setups I'm looking for. And, you know, if you go down to, we'll have to go down to 1 minute, which I won't do now. Actually, let's just take a look at it. You see the action there. It was even a bit of a struggle on that 1 minute chart. You might have got the first sort of real entry setup. You can see how it was holding nicely the MAs and then it come down, got back below the MAs on the 1 minute when the market first started pushing down off that level. And then you got this little minor lower high, which actually led to a good sell-off after that. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle on the ASX. There was really some consistent selling right through. And when Asian markets open, say the Hang Seng and the Nikkei, same sort of scenario. They were popped up into resistance and straight back down again. And you'll see that on the Dow. The Dow popped up just after the open. It's kind of like they dragged the markets up and everything got sold into after that. Look at the Hang Seng. This is the Hang Seng open and we're on the 5 minute chart. That's the open. That's the open there. So the very next candle, all red, all the way down. And you can see that was a drop of, say, from that high there down to that low is nearly 400 points. Okay, so that's a big drop, big selling. And you can see it really, that was the level we're looking at coming into the morning. You can see that markets popped up, chopped around here, sort of flushed up into the open, into the close of the US session, and then it rolled over. So it started to roll over a bit earlier than that. This was around, I think, 8 o'clock mark when the US just popped up and then started to fade a bit. And the US, don't forget, the Dow is at a key level, key resistance zone. So you got the Hang Seng. It was doing okay before that, and then it got really hit hard. And the last few sessions actually been the reverse. So it gapped up on the open on the index today and got sold into, whereas yesterday it gapped up and kept going. So it's a strange market and it's a bit of a tough market, but you just got to trade your setups and trade what you see. Okay. So this one here, that's, as you can see, it's sold off. It's opened up again just at 4 o'clock, which is only probably 20 minutes ago. It's opened up, popped up, and it looks like it might try to squeeze out some of these shorts. And then we'll just have to wait and see if it wants to roll over again. Okay, Japan, which is the Nikkei. This is the one that I posted into the Discord channel. This is the setup. You can see it was a really prime setup. You can see that it was a 5 minute chart. Started to chop around here. You might have had a few failed starts, but once you're seeing that flush and finish back below, and then you got the lower high, the very next candle, that's where you want him to really get in and take advantage, because I feel that there is a prime setup. Once you touch it a few times, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 candles that would touch that same level. Very next candle flushes up, finishes straight back down below. So you know that that's trapped some breakout traders on the upside who have bought it, who now have to sell into the market. And that's why you get this bit of an acceleration to the downside. And that happens time and time again in the indices. So it's really, really good to watch. And you can see, being on this 5 minute chart, momentum's down, longer term momentum's starting to roll over too. So you've got everything in your favor, okay? And the market really started accelerating on the downside. So now we're starting to potentially, we've gone sort of this offer zone. So there's sellers up here and we've got a bid zone where people are willing to buy it. So a buy zone and a sell zone. The market goes from one to the other regularly. And you can see even prior, it sort of popped up above that sell zone. So that was a sell zone, popped up, took it out, retested it, held, and that becomes a bid zone where people are willing to buy it. It's traded all the way up to that sell zone and then fails straight off there, pretty much in one session, straight back down again. Okay, so that got knocked around a bit, sold down pretty hard. So that's your three markets in Asia that I follow basically. The ASX 200 got knocked down on the head, the Hang Seng and the Nikkei all got sold down. So it's opened up European session for a bit of negativity coming into the start. Look at the, this is a Germany 40 or the DAX. And you can see that was just after if we get that up, that was just after the open, wasn't it? Yep, just after the US close. This little pop up here into a level, okay? So this is a pre-marked up level, and I don't know if you can see it just here. That's it there. Where it's chopped around there before and then failed off that area. So we've got that level already marked up. I think that could be a key. You've got this zone through here, which it's been bought up once, twice. It failed off there previously, and it's failed off there just here, but it got bought up and through, held a retest, went up to this other sell zone, come straight back down today. So this was pretty much the action when the European markets closed. This is all just selling into Asian session. But the thing is, if it starts to hold that, the market could open a little bit negative. Even after the US was up last night, the DAX and the FTSE could open up a bit negative. We're coming into some numbers, don't forget, some economic numbers tonight in the US, which are pretty big. It's inflationary. The only real concern around at the moment is the interest rate cycle and inflationary numbers. And if they come out very inflationary, there could be a bit of a beating in the market. And you don't want to be, especially when the markets have been up quite strong, they don't want to be holding long. So it's a bit of a risk-off move. It could be a risk-off move coming into the US session tonight. Risk-off, I mean selling. Simple as that. Okay, we'll have to wait and see. But this area, if that starts to crack and we start to climb, we flush higher in the open. If we do something like this, you might find it does the same thing as what Asian market did, pop up and then start to get heavy. Then you're looking for that selling, okay, coming off lower highs. All right, that's the that was DAX. So we're looking at the FTSE, the UK 100, much the same. It was looking quite bullish, closed up on its highs of the session, coming to the US close, gapped up straight down. So it's all been selling, all one-way action through the Asian market session. Okay, from 8 o'clock, and that was the same when we look at the Dow. Pretty much opened up, suckered in a few buys, straight down on top of them after that. Okay, so this could be, don't forget we're on a 5-minute, this could be the first sell. It's potentially broken this uptrend. You can see the longer term 100 MAs rolling over, flattening out. Could be a lower high where we go straight through this support zone at 76.25, or even a deep pullback into that zone. We could do one of two things. We could flush into there and start to lift off it and ramp, fair enough. Or we could just see a bit of a risk-off move into something like this. Now we just see some decent selling. Let me just do that again. There we go. That could be the case. All right. So just bear with, just be careful when you're looking at the markets when it opens. Just looking at this here. So yeah, that could be the case. We'll see how we go. The US market. So we've got the Nasdaq. We'll start off with the Nasdaq, and we'll just finish off with the Dow. Same sort of scenario. So they're all seeing that Asian market session selling. Okay, so it could be, like I said, it's been ramped up the last few sessions, ramped up pretty hard. And that is a bit strange. In my opinion, it's a bit strange when you're talking up inflation. Now, remember, all this moved down previously when it got knocked on the head a bit. This sort of moved down and then, whoops, it got sold, it got bought up around here. That move down was because of inflation, interest rate rises. Now, they're not going away. Inflation's a little bit higher. Okay, if anything. Inflation hasn't eased over there. So that concerns has been brushed aside. It's been ramped up, in my opinion. So it could be a bit of a ramp up into the CPI numbers, inflation in US numbers, and then a dump again. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's a hard thing to tell. You never know what the market's going to do. All you can do is trade what you see. So I'm really looking for, for me, this market is in no man's land a bit at the moment. Between two key levels, I've got 15,310 and 14,830. I want to see either, if it's going to get buoyed, get supported, I want to see a good push up. I want to see buyers start to step in, and then it's rally, or we're going to see that sort of a rollover like that. Okay, and then I'll be happy to sort of jump in that lower height when we're rolling off the MAs, the EMAs. Okay, the Dow. Now this is a key level on the Dow. If we go to an hourly, get rid of that. You can see it's tested it here, right? Yeah, this is a while ago, back in start to mid January. Tested it, sort of tested into it again, held up off it, come straight back down into it, bounced off again through, sort of tested into it again, tested into again as we're selling off, and now it's come all the way back up. Tested it, failed, got bought up, we're back into there again. Okay, just because we cleared it a little bit does not mean that we're not going to roll over, okay, and get sold into again. Especially after the markets, what happened in Asia, it could be a bit of, like I said, it's got popped up above the level, so people are getting a bit bullish. People buy into the close, expecting it to rally when we come into the European session. Instead, it could sort of sucker in and trap a few buyers and then turn around and squeeze them straight back out again. Okay, and it knows that there's stops up there, so what it's anticipating is that if this market is risk off, it's a prime thing that it can do. Okay, if it's risk off, it's too obvious when it doesn't break through the level and starts to hold just below it. But when it comes up there and holds just above it, when the market's open, they could be a bit, okay, it's not so bad. We'll buy into some stocks again, and then bang, they get hit. All right, but we'll see. That's my favorite saying. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'm still looking at this as a major level, 35,675. I don't think we've got any price action to me, especially this is the hourly chart. I'll look at the 30-minute a lot on the 30-minute, which is suggesting that, this level is going to hold and we're going to, pop back up. You want to see it hold maybe like this, and then you want to see a higher low work. Okay, you want to see that higher low. If that higher low holds, then there could be extension through those highs into 36,015. But for now, it's not doing that. I think we could have, that's your first leg down. We're starting to get heavy again. We could have a secondary leg down. And if we get back below that level, coming to US session, it might be a bit choppy and we get some more selling. Like I said, risk off. But we'll see. Again, that number I think is at 12:30, the CPI number, which is the inflationary number that they're all waiting for. That's before the market opens at 1:30. That's Sydney time anyway. So it's an hour before the index open. It's right when the futures market opens. So it could be a bit of a volatile market before then. You'd expect a lot of these people, if they're trying to sell at the algos, they try to open it up fairly strong or at least break even. So they're not going to get bad fills on the open. So they might try to support it into the open at 1:30, an hour after the number, if it's a bad number or if it's a bad for the market, as in a strong inflationary number, which would mean, okay, rate rises sooner rather than later, maybe more rate rises, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 rate rises we're looking at this year. Depends how strong it is. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just be wary that that is a key level, and I don't think it hasn't cleared that level. Okay, even on this chart, it hasn't cleared it. It's just popped through and it's held. I thought it might have cleared it and extended on the gains today, but it failed straight away. Okay, so and then after looking through Asia's failed straight off their key levels. There is a chance that this is going to roll over. All right. So that's it. That's all I want to go through. There are your markets for the open. Like I said, the main ones coming up are the DAX and then the UK. They're looking at a little bit heavy coming into the open. There is a chance that, once they kick off in about, was it an hour and a half's time? 6 o'clock, yep, in an hour and a half's time, they may start to get a bit volatile. You don't be surprised if we flush up. I wouldn't be surprised if we flush up, sucker in a few longs, and then turn around and squeeze down. So between 6 and 7, the hour prior to the index open, it could flush up, drag in a few buys, and then turn around and just squeeze on them when it comes back down again. But we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, and we'll speak to you again soon.